Welcome to the Mental Wealth Podcast, showcasing business, entrepreneurship, and mental wealth. Today we have got a lovely friend and an esteemed entrepreneur. So Loulou, how
Hello.
are you today? How is life?
It's good, but it's hard. You have good days and bad days and anything. But I think as an entrepreneur, if you're not working, you're not doing something, then you're not moving forward. So yeah, it can be difficult. But if it was easy, as everyone says, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So.
Exactly. So what was your first ever business that you started?
So my first business I named after Tupac's album, which was All Eyes on Me. It was beauty.
So have you got sort of any advice that you would give to anyone?
I would say if you was to co-source with someone, do your research on that person. Make sure they are who they say that they are.
The main thing that you're known for is being the queen of the property sourcing. Would you say that's fair?
What is going on, people, and welcome to the Mental Wealth Podcast, showcasing business, entrepreneurship, and mental wealth. Today we have got a lovely friend and an esteemed entrepreneur. So Loulou, how
Hello.
are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Let's go.
How are you doing today?
I'm all right, yeah. Energy levels are high. I'm looking forward to this. I'm proud of you both as well.
Thank you.
Getting this started.
We're trying.
Really well.
Now, my first question is, how is life as an entrepreneur?
Hard. It's good, but it's hard. You have good days and bad days and anything, but I think as an entrepreneur, if you're not working, you're not doing something, then you're not moving forward. So, yeah, it can be difficult, but if it was easy, as everyone says, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So.
Exactly. So taking it right back to when you were 16 years old, what
God.
were you aspiring to be? What did you want to be?
At 16, that's a long time ago. 16. I was still show jumping at 16. I was on my way to being an international show jumper. I was a professional stage already. I think in my 20s, kind of gave that up, but I always knew I was going to be working for myself, but I just didn't know. I was 16, you don't really know where you're going to go, but at that time, my life was just horses, every day, all day. So, yeah.
So how did that transition happen, like from riding horses into being an entrepreneur? Surely you must have had like some sort of click, that moment where you thought, okay, now I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing right now and I'm going to move into business.
Honestly, it wasn't a click. I think it's the family aspects. My dad's side are heavily entrepreneurs. A lot of us work for ourselves, so it was kind of drilled in me from young to be doing that. But I don't know, there wasn't really a click to then to now. It just sort of happened organically because I had some other businesses before I got to where I am now. So it was a bit of a strange one. It was a bit of a wonky path.
Yeah. So what was your first ever business that you started?
So my first business I named after Tupac's album, which was All Eyes on Me. It was beauty, mobile beauty to be more specific. So it's doing like spray tans, nails, the odd facials, and I was doing massages as well, which I had to stop because I kind of noticed that my clientele for massages wasn't really the clientele that I wanted.
Oh no.
Yeah, it wasn't nice. So I had to stop that. So unless it was women were fine, but I noticed that more and more my bookings were men when it comes
creepy.
to massages. Yeah, and I'm not doing that, so no.
Fair enough. So the main thing that you're known for is being the queen of the property sourcing. Would you say that's fair?
I didn't give myself that name, that title.
Yeah, heard it down the pipeline. So talk to us a little bit about that. How did you get into that?
By accident. I quit my job the one time that I thought I was going to work for someone for a long time. It's in the corporate world. Something basically happened and I just kind of said, nah, we're done with this. Took some time off, about 3-4 months. Came across a video about property sourcing on YouTube. And I thought, yeah, I can do that. That's just sales. That's what I know, sales. So got my ass up and then, went to a seminar. And then it just stemmed from then. So property, I've always had a bit of a toe in property anyways. So I just thought, yeah, this just makes sense. It's sales and property, so that's pretty much it. It's as simple as that, really.
So it was literally just from the one YouTube video you just learned. Did you go to anyone in particular?
Yeah. I'm not going to say his name, but you pay £1 to do his course. And then it just stemmed from there, and then kind of met people, became like part of the sourcing division. Then I did it by myself as well.
So you sort of learned what you needed to learn and then do it yourself?
It wasn't really, if I'm being honest, I didn't learn anything because it was, I don't want to make it seem that I just knew everything straight away, because that's not the case. But I think when you've come from a sales background, once you get the gist of it, which was pretty much after that £1 seminar, I just thought, right, okay, this makes sense. All I needed to know was like the breakdown of costings when it comes to like refurb and everything. So I never actually did a course on sourcing. It just sort of came naturally to me. So yeah.
So from the get-go, were you like, I'm going to do deal sourcing? Or was there like rent-to-rents that you were kind of interested in, or like purchasing assets?
Yeah, I tried to do it all to begin with, because I came across sourcing videos, I came across rent-to-rent videos, and thought, yeah, I can do everything. No, I couldn't at all. And then I decided that sourcing was the stepping stone that I needed. But that was after about a month of trying to do everything. My head was up the wall.
Yeah.
It just didn't make any sense. I think I could probably do more things now, and I am doing more things now, but at the start of my journey, just needed to focus on one thing. So yeah, I went into sourcing.
How long did it take you to start up that company? Were you co-sourcing in the beginning, or were you just
started
your own company, started sourcing?
Yeah, so no, I co-sourced in the beginning with some mum. Once I was with him, it took me about a week and a half to get my first deal. Once I understood it and the process, and I then decided, right, I can still co-source with you, but I'm going to do it on my own as well. The person that I was co-sourcing with, I then ended up leaving him and then going to someone else co-sourcing while still doing my own deals with investors as well. So yeah.
Wicked. So for people that, because I know a few people that like the sound of co-sourcing and sourcing. So have you got sort of any advice that you would give to anyone?
Oh, a bit of a tricky subject, really. Advice. I would say if you was to co-source with someone, do your research on that person. Make sure they are who they say that they are, and that they have the goods to back it up. And I don't just mean hiring Ferraris and Lambos and all that. I mean really do your research on them. Go to as many networking events so you can meet your investors. I'd say always post on social media as well when you have done your property deals, because to be fair, that's where all my investors came from, was social media, Instagram and LinkedIn to be more specific, because they can see the numbers, they can see what I'm doing. I'd post all my viewings as well. Even if it was properties that I didn't end up getting, I'd always talk about it.
Being consistent.
Yeah, just being out here. So I'd say, yeah, networking, trying to find the right group of people who are wanting to do what you're doing. And then, yeah, just get your act together and get out and go.
On a day-to-day basis, how many calls would you say you used to make?
Calls?
Yeah, or to like estate agents.
I treat it like a full-on 9 to 5, yeah. It'd be all day, every day. I had a bit of a system, so I'd find all my properties, like Sunday night, find all my properties that came on Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, book them in first thing Monday. Anything that then came on Monday, I'd find them around about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock to see what's coming in that day. And then I'd have viewings throughout the week. And then on Wednesday night, I'd see what else is coming on that Monday that I might have missed, Tuesday and then Wednesday, and then book them in and just kept going like that. So calls-wise, I wouldn't even know a lot, because there was a lot of properties. It was, it's hot. I mean, it's still hot now, so yeah, good few calls a day, yeah.
With like deal sourcing, you're pretty much constantly on the road, aren't you? Like
yes.
Always, everywhere, like going to that viewing. That's
the side that a lot of people don't see. You're on the road.
Yeah, because initially when I started out my property journey, I started out with deal sourcing.
Oh, okay.
And literally I was just like going everywhere, from Farnborough to Wolverhampton to Birmingham. I was just constantly on the road. And at one point I was just like, fuck me, like
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah.
It is not as easy as it looks
on
social media.
Yeah.
So For someone that is starting out deal sourcing or call sourcing, what advice would you give to them that most people portray on social media that is not true?
Find an area and stick to it. Find a strategy and stick to it. Don't do it all. I don't source service accommodation properties. I specifically source flips, BRRs, the odd HMO, and buy-to-let. The most obvious one. Yeah, so I think when you try and do it all, because I would say personally, service accommodation, when you're trying to source something like that and then a flip, your numbers are completely different.
Yeah.
And then you're not even having to like think about refurb costs, or you might be able to think about refurb costs, but are they going to be the same when it comes to flips and your BRRs? Find what you're good at, stick to it. Find an area that's going to be convenient for you and stick to it. I just did Northwest. The odd time when I tried to do Birmingham, and then come back and do viewings in like Manchester.
Yes.
It's just too much.
No fun, that is it.
And it took the fun out of it as well. And my diet was shot to shit as well, because you're just grabbing anything that you can get your little grubby hands on.
Yeah.
And find an area, stick to it, and your strategy.
So what would you say? Firstly, would you say, I know you don't do as much of it now.
I don't do any sourcing now.
Doing nothing now. So would you say you're happy that you did do it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
It opened a hell of a lot of doors for me. Even the people that I've met who I don't particularly like now, I can't fault them for that, because it's just, everything just had a massive domino effect in a good way.
Yeah.
All the networking that I did, all the people that I've met.
And your knowledge from
and
everything.
all the knowledge, yeah. Like I said, I had a toe in property before, but I didn't know all the avenues of property. BRRs, what's that? Buy, refurbish, refinance, rent. Never heard of that before. So
because you used to actually, when, say for example, you sourced the property, you would actually sometimes see the flip, wouldn't you?
Of
so
course.
You would go through the whole procedure and see all the work's getting done. So
even down to like the back end of stuff when it comes dealing with like solicitors, and because sometimes something might show up on the report. And the investor's like, well, I've not accounted for that. Didn't think that was going to come up, or it would be like damp or something like that. Then you then have to go back, if that's a part of what you provide in your sourcing package, well, which is what I did. So sometimes I'd have to go back to the estate agents and be like, right, well, we didn't get told about this, didn't get told about that. What can we do? So is there any compromise in the purchase price? So there's a lot of it that you wouldn't really expect if you're just getting into it. But I think if you do your research, which I didn't do, I'm one of those people that do kind of like to learn on the go, which is probably a little bit bad, but it served me well in just sort of going with the flow. And as problems like arise, I feel like I can handle it quite well. But yeah, I enjoyed it. My time was coming to an end, so yeah.
I think that's probably what separated you from a lot of the other sources, if that makes sense, because a lot of it, I think people see sourcing, in my opinion, as quite a bit of a quick cash, especially when you get down the surface accommodation rent to rent route. Yeah. People see like, I can get a property. I've worked with sourcers where they've gone straight from estate agents, and it's like, I'll call up who I think is the landlord because they've said to me they found the property for me, and I've just spoken to an estate agent. I'm like, what the hell am I paying you £2,000 for? I could have just called Beresford's or whoever it is and just got that property. I was like, that is crazy. That is crazy, and people were paying that £2,000 a pop for me to ring an estate agent. If
people are actually getting that and not asking for the money back, then I don't know what to say in that, but
crazy.
No, my numbers were always right. I've never been wrong on my numbers unless something's come up on a report and then the investor said, right, okay, we're still going to go ahead with it, but I still adjust the numbers for him. But I always made sure that I under-promised everything and over-delivered, so there was always some wiggle room and contingencies in there as well. So yeah, but that, I don't understand how people are getting away with that.
They do,
ridiculous. One of our mutual friends, he was saying that he got sent properties just straight off Rightmove, not secured, just like, do you want this? Well, yeah, I would like that. It looks good, but you've not dealt with it, so
it's not really ethical.
No, not at all. No.
Just another one. Touching on this subject, you are a very driven person, and as entrepreneurs, everyone has a reason why. So I just want to ask, what is your reason why for doing what it is that you're doing right now?
Because someday I want to be sat on a 10-foot yacht shaking my ass. That's why. Don't put that in.
Put that
Money, money and what it provides, what it can do for people. That is everyone's end goal. And if they say it's not money, then I'd say they're a liar. Yeah.
Is that your ultimate dream?
What?
Having money. Like, what is your ultimate dream?
My ultimate dream is being able to give back, be financially secure, more secure than I am now, and be able to give everyone that I love something back and help people. That's my dream. And have loads and loads of animals as well. Rescue, like I want a full-on rescue farm. I can't do that with no money. So
they say money is not everything, but it is.
It's everything. You can't do anything without it. Of course,
they say,
it's everything.
Money is the root of evil, but
it's the root of evil if you allow it to be the root of evil. Of course, yeah. If your mind's not right and the people around you are not right, then of course you can get driven down.
Yeah,
the
I feel
wrong
like
path.
it's always the people that don't have money that say money is not everything.
And even when I didn't have money, I never said those words. Because it's not true.
Yeah. So you're not doing sourcing anymore. What are you doing now?
Social housing.
Social housing.
Yeah, rent-to-rent social housing to be more specific. Yeah.
How are you finding it?
Really good. Yeah. It's good days, it's bad days, depending on what the council decide to do that day, what side of the bed they want to wake up on. But overall, I thoroughly enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's quite good for people to sort of see both sides of it. Because I know, don't get me wrong, you get the good side where it's consistent, all that sort of stuff, but also, like you say, you can speak to one person one day and they'll tell you something completely different.
Yeah, that's really bizarre.
Can you sort of share any stories or experiences you've had so far? I know you're sort of working your way up quite quickly in it, so anything really.
Experiences. So one of the councils that I have been working with, they have said that they're going to need property throughout the near future. Long story short, they've now closed that. They've closed it temporarily, but there was no warning. So it was a little bit like, okay, well, what do I do now? But I'm just glad that I wasn't already making steps to get into other councils and other avenues before they said that. Otherwise, I think I would have been completely stuck. Because with me deal sourcing, which I'm so glad that I did, I've got a lot of estate agents, whether it be the directors' numbers or just estate agents in general, people that work there, they now know that I'm going into rent-to-rent. So the ones that do allow company lets, anything that's coming to the market, I'm getting that call first. Any landlords that I've met, I'm getting that call first. So that's been great, but some of the struggles that I've had at the minute, I've got too much property and haven't had anywhere to put them. There was a bit of a freeze for about 2 weeks, so that was hard, but it's nothing that I couldn't work out. So it's on the way up, yeah.
But that shows that you've obviously built that network to start with, and now that's paying dividends now, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Now you must have been on like thousands of viewings. Like
a good few.
Yeah, thousands, especially when you started deal sourcing and
all
doing
day.
social housing. So what has been the worst viewing that you have ever attended?
The worst viewing?
Yeah, craziest experience you've had viewing.
Do you know what? It wasn't even that long ago. Came across a property, did my sort of DD on it first. Estate agent was like, there's not really anything wrong with it. I was like, well, it's been on the market for like nearly a year. So, no, it's just had sales and fallen through. Okay, but why have they fallen through? We just don't know. People just sort of change their minds and this and that, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, went to the viewing. It's got a big fucking crack in the wall. Like, literally, like, that big, subsiding. But the estate agents were kind of just like, no, there's nothing wrong. It's got a hole in the wall from top to bottom. I think I even put it on my my Instagram. I said that's probably my worst viewing. It was funny. And luckily I had other stuff that day in the area, but if it was just that one particular one, I would have been fuming. Going all the way there for nothing.
So how do you keep yourself motivated?
It's been mainly discipline that's been pushing that motivation forward. Because like I said before, I have my good days, my good weeks, and my bad days, and good, like, back and forth. But I don't know, I think mainly because I know where I want to go, and I know if I sit around doing nothing,
I'm not going to get it.
I'm not going to get it. So I have to get up and and do it. Otherwise, if I don't do it, then, you know, I don't have an AI version of me that can do it, unfortunately. So, yeah, I don't really know what else to say with that.
So we obviously talk a lot about mental health
Yeah.
on here. Is that something you're happy to talk about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how is it that you sort of manage to keep yours in check? If you do keep it in check, like say, either way.
Yeah. I think having the right people around you definitely helps. Mental health is actually something that I've struggled with for many, many years. Right now, it's in the best place than it's been in a long time. But I've gone down that route of, you know, bad thoughts and, you know, attempts to do things and on lots of medication, which I'm not on anymore and I haven't been for years. So yeah, there's still always sort of niggling in my mind. But what was your question?
So how do you keep it in check?
How do I keep it in check? Discipline, yeah. Just knowing where I need to go, knowing that what I'm doing now, the fact that I'm going to be helping a lot of people. And I think that's one of the reasons why I have wanted to get into social housing, because I had this thought many, many years ago. I just didn't know it was social housing. And when I've been in a bad place, sometimes there was people there to help me, sometimes there wasn't. And the times that there wasn't, I kind of think about those other people who generally have no one to bounce off to get back to where they used to be or where they can be. So sometimes I have that in the back of my mind, right? Well, it's not just me or my company that I'm doing this for, my family or whatever. It's all the other people that I haven't actually met yet that will need that help.
And you're also doing it for yourself.
And myself, yeah, of course, yeah.
I think we've touched upon discipline quite a few times, and what most people tend to think is that motivation and discipline, it goes kind of hand to hand. But I think discipline is way more important than motivation, because motivation can only get you so far.
Yeah.
It's the discipline that literally takes you to the finish line.
Yeah.
Because motivation, you can have it for like a couple of weeks, and then after that, it's the discipline that comes into play.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's something that I've learned quite recently, actually, because I've always been one of those people when it comes to business, I can't do it if I don't have that motivation to do it, if I don't have that pleasure of actually doing it and that passion. Whereas recently, because there's been some bumps along the way, I kind of lost that motivation, but I knew it was just a phase. So then that's when I've had to then fall on discipline to then actually get me through. And then because I've been disciplined, then I'm seeing more and more things come together of what I wanted. And then that motivation has then come back. And now they're just speaking to each other and tying together quite nicely.
Do you find, like, say you stop for a minute, do you find that your mental health gets worse? Or does it not work like that for you?
No, because it's not that I'm doing all of this to distract myself. Yeah, that's not what I'm doing. The days when I stop is purely because I have to stop, because I'm just tired. I've learned now, because I used to feel quite guilty when I just didn't do anything, but I've learned now, if I think, right, after 12 o'clock on Friday, I'm not doing anything property wise, social housing wise, business wise, I'm just going to chill and do whatever. I'm allowing myself to have that freedom in my head. Whereas before, it'd really eat me up, and then I'd be miserable the next day and the next day, because I didn't allow myself that allocated time just for me and my cats. So yeah.
So it's a bit of a tougher one. Have you ever felt like you wasn't good enough?
For what?
Just in anything that you've done. So say, for example, since you've left school, whether it's be in the corporate world or in the business world, have you ever thought, do you know what, I'm a bit out of my depth here? And
not really. I felt there's times where things are happening and I'm like, whoa, right, this is a lot. And I have had imposter syndrome, but that again has just been a phase. There's not really anything that I've fallen into work-wise or around people, and I think I'm not good enough. Which is, I would say, saying that out loud is quite weird, because, like I said, I have struggled with my mental health for many years, and you'd think that would kind of be a part of it, but no. I've always, if I walk into a room, I'm very much like, no, I belong here. Yeah. But I might be battling something in secret, and I think, okay, this is very overwhelming. This is a lot. Like, why would someone want me to do this, or why would someone want to get involved with this? And they might see my worth at that time, and I might not at that very moment. But it doesn't last longer than a day. So, no.
Where do you think that strength comes from?
Probably my dad.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Are you quite close with your dad?
I'm very close with my dad. My dad's like my best friend. My mum and my dad are my best friends. Yeah. But my dad's he's a beast. He's very driven. Yeah, he's an absolute monster, mentally as well. I've never met anyone like my dad. Yeah, he's my best friend. I'm very close with both. I couldn't say who I was closer to. I probably tell my dad more things than I would tell my mum. Because my mum, she worries slightly and she worries for me, whereas I can talk to my dad like as an outsider, and he'd be like, right, okay, you've got this, you need to do this, this and this, like, you're fine, type of thing. Whereas mum would be like, oh, a bit worried. So I don't like stressing my mum out, but no, I love them both, but yeah, very close to both.
Would you say your dad has been a huge part in your business career?
Absolutely.
Like helped you out
From
thick and thin?
From young. When I got into horses, that was all him. That was all my dad. Like it's not something that, I saw as a child on TV and I thought, I want to ride a horse. It was, my dad took me down to a yard one day and he was like, right, you're going to start riding. And then because I loved it, he always backed me and supported me. Obviously, the horses that I had, I couldn't afford as a child. So he was paying for everything, and horses they ain't cheap.
No.
So
as parents, I think they want you to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And when you made that decision upon yourself that, you want to leave the corporate world to start your own business, did he say like, nah, don't do it? Or was he like...
No, so it wasn't really like that. So I've always kind of worked for myself beforehand. I went into corporate only recently, when was COVID? 4 years ago now.
Probably, about that. Bit more.
So I just started at that job, COVID hit, we got furloughed, and then I was there just shy of 2 years. So that was only recently. I had businesses before that. It was kind of like I had businesses failed, and then thought, right, what can I do? Then I went into corporate, and then I was like, I don't really want to work for someone else, but then I enjoyed it, and it was different every day. It was pressure. It was great until obviously something happens. But no, if anything, my dad was kind of like, are you sure you want to do this? Because he knew the entrepreneur side of me. He's never worked for anyone else. I've never really worked for anyone else. So it was kind of like, are you sure type of thing. But I think because the money was good, it was fine. My dad's going to be fine with anything that I do. So I'm not feral.
So your dad had his own business as well? Or still has his own business?
Yeah, still, yeah.
Oh, okay, so that must have, because when you were growing up, that must have installed a huge career for you as well, looking up to your dad.
Yeah, because I used to work for him as well.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So just touching into property, what has been the biggest mistake you have made in the property industry that has shaped you for who you are today? How have you learned from it?
First off, I don't regret anything. I don't regret the people that I've met, because, like I said, it's opened a lot of doors because of all the networking events that I've been to. But one thing that it's taught me is to do your research on people. Like, a lot of us are probably guilty of seeing things on social media and seeing the flashiness and think, oh, well, they must be doing well.
Yeah.
When in reality, they might not own anything. So I think protect yourself, protect your inner peace, and do your research. That's one thing that I've implemented going forward at any time that I might be getting involved with people or an organisation, is just make sure you do your due diligence on them, because if they're going down, you don't want to go down with them.
100%.
So Loulou, who is your company?
Sapphire Living.
Sapphire Living. And what, is that solely just property at the minute?
Yeah, solely property, rent to rent, social housing, or, might be my own properties with social housing. Solely property.
So Loulou, I know you are very keen on the networking events. Have you got any coming up, or anyone that you can give advice to people to attend coming up?
Yeah, so I've got a very good friend of mine, Madison. She's got an event called Connect. I think that's next Friday, so that should be, is that the 23rd of March, I think?
Saturday.
Is it Saturday?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was Friday.
think it's sad.
I'll have to check my calendar. So I've got that event coming up. I also have a Savoy's event, the Q1, first one of the year. That's in 2 weeks.
You love a Savoy's one, don't you? They do look wicked.
Yeah, they are good. Yeah, they're good events. I've also then got coming up a council event, which I'm going to sponsor them for. Well, my company is going to sponsor them for, Sapphire Living. So I'm quite looking forward to that because
Wicked.
a few mayors are going as well that I kind of want to connect with, one being Mayor of Manchester. So
Nice.
need to show my face there, make sure they know who Sapphire Living is and what we do.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
we're looking forward to that one as well.
So just touching up on networking, how did you get up to the point where you're literally going to be meeting the mayor of Manchester? Because, you know, people are going to ask, like, how are you attending these networking events? How are you meeting these people? Like, what message would you give them? Like, what, not a step-by-step guide, but just how can they at least try and be at an event where it's going to benefit them?
I think the more networking events that you go to, and the more interactions that you have with people, it just forms itself quite naturally. You'll be getting invites, or you might see something on social media and then say you want to go, and then before you know it, you're having a conversation, and then it can just kind of stem from there. Me meeting a couple of mayors in next month came back off the back of a LinkedIn post that I saw, and I thought, I want to go to that. I got talking with the guy who's holding the event for the council, and then he just kind of mentioned, would you be interested in sponsoring it? And I thought, well, yeah, I already work with you anyway, so it kind of just made sense. So, yeah, the more networking events you go to, the more people you're going to meet, and it'll just go from there.
Ultimately, I think like it's just, don't think about it too much. Don't dwell on it too much.
No.
I think to all the audience that are going to be watching, just if there's something that you think that will benefit you, just go for it.
Just be authentic.
Yeah.
It'll just come naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the people you're going to meet is priceless. And
Yeah.
the people that they know, you never know who you're going to meet.
Exactly.
I think a lot of it's a confidence thing, though, isn't it? A lot of people sort of think, oh, is someone going to talk to me when I get there? But for everyone that I've ever been to, everyone's so friendly all the time, aren't they?
Everyone's friendly. Everyone's,
Do you know what I mean? Everyone's
like,
there for the same reason, aren't they?
yeah, exactly. And you don't even know if that's their first event, and
No,
they might be
exactly.
thinking the same thing as well, like shy or who do I speak to? Just open up your flaps and just start talking. Wait, that sounded wrong. Open your mouth and just start talking.
Yeah, because that's all it takes is that meet
Yeah,
that one
of
person.
course, yeah.
Just that one person, and then that can change your life forever.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure. Loulou, thanks so much for coming on today. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Hopefully we'll see your journey within the next sort of few months with, well, sort of 6 months, let's say 6 months with the council.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'd love to get you back on
Or the part 2.
for a little part 2.
Yeah,
See
definitely.
how you're getting on, and see if there's anything else you can share for our guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
If people want to find you, where can they do so on socials?
So I'm on Instagram, Loulou Johnson _, and Loulou is spelled Loulou, not Lulu. Loulou Johnson _, and my LinkedIn's just Loulou Johnson. Company is Sapphire Living _ as well.
Wicked. We'll tag all your stuff on the bio as well. But guys, thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you at the next one.
Whoop whoop.